All right, we are back. All right, let me just get myself set up here. Okay, hi everyone.
Hola.
Wait a few minutes for people to get logged on. And I know that we have a little bit of a delay here on things. So when they do come in, see, I always get this commercial that comes up.
The countdown
The
or
audio, it's like the audio comes through. It's sort of like the go live portion comes
oh, I
through.
see a commercial. Yeah, I've just clicked on the live right now. I'm gonna share it
Okay.
once I see
Yeah.
it.
All right, cool. So, hi everyone. Hi Dixie. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. I'm going to just take some deep breaths, right? We should do some breath work,
I agree.
right? And just get into the groove of everything. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle for Casa ELM in San Miguel de Allende, which is in central Mexico. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if it's not, and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. And for everyone who logs in tonight, please do me a favor and just hit that like button. It's super easy. Like, that's it. Press that button.
Me
Yes,
gusta.
exacto. So I'm excited to have Jessie in tonight. She's second time on my channel. Last year we were just talking about this trip, right? And all of
Yes.
your training and your application or your app and all of the things that she does from a language standpoint, which I absolutely love. And she and I have been in conversations about doing kind of like this group immersive trip for a few years, right? So I'm very
Yes.
excited to have you on tonight. So before we jump into all of that, I just want to say welcome. Hi, Michelle. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. So tonight we're just going to get into what she does, her upcoming trip, which is going to take place in San Miguel de Allende. This is our second go round at bringing it to Mexico. She's going to tell you about her history in Costa Rica a little bit and just kind of like all the plans that she has. But before we get into that, I do want to stay on doing my housekeeping because there are so many things happening here in San Miguel, so many events coming, so many things that I feel like I'm the octopus legs involved in a gracious and very grateful way. Yes, you know, things are really heating up in a good way. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So welcome to everyone. If you're in the chat, say hi. You can tell us where you're checking in from if you'd like to share that. Or you can just linger in the background and listen. That's fine too. Again, Michelle for Casa ELM. I am located in San Miguel de Allende. If you haven't heard of us, we basically have a guest house in central Mexico in San Miguel de Allende, and I help people and individuals who are interested in having a soft landing experience, whether they're traveling to this part of the country or if they are interested in moving or they're exploring, whatever it might be. I am here for that purpose. We do relocation tours. We have group events. We have a lot of things happening this year. So I'm going to kind of go through this list a little bit and drop each of the links this time one by one as I talk about them. Because last week I kind of said it all and I tried to copy and paste the whole thing, and YouTube was like not having it in the live chat, not enough space. So to get started, first, before we get into everything, we'll talk about Jessie's upcoming event, which is going to be on August the 12th through the 18th. I had to write it all down. We are sold out with the Casa ELM package.
Hey. Hey.
Yes. However, she is offering a travel pass, which is for the whole week, and you can be a part of all the activities. However, you will have to find your own accommodations, and she'll pass some more details on about the activities themselves. and if you need help with anything. Now, when is the group live webinar, is that for everyone, or is it just for the people who already registered? Like if
As
someone's
of now, it's for the
interested.
people who've already registered, but if anyone reaches out between now and Sunday, because it's going to be this upcoming Sunday, they can definitely check it out too.
Okay, so if that is something you're interested in, you'll have all the contacts. You can reach out a little bit later on today. I want to talk about first the October meetup, which is happening here in San Miguel, first ever that I'm doing. A lot of folks have asked about October, or well, not October, but meetups in San Miguel. When are you going to have one? So here I am. I'm having one. I hope you guys will continue to sign up for it. I've already sold 3 VIP places, which is the whole thing with accommodations here at Casa ELM. We have 1 space left. Okay, so if you're interested in that, you can go to the website and look for more info. If you want to know more about the general admission tickets and the event itself, join us on June the 3rd at 6 Central Mexico time. That is next week, Monday. Wow, time's going by. I can't believe it's June already.
I know.
It's like
I know.
knock, knock. That will be happening on Monday. And you can join in. It's free. It's a free webinar. I'm going to put it in the chat. And also some other things that I've been talking about. I'm going to add Jessie's connections here, right? This is Jessie's event. You can see that educational travel for Spanish language learners and lovers. I'm excited about that. And just a second. For the webinar. So the actual meetup in San Miguel is going to be happening on October 24th through the 28th. We are going to have 3 full days of just kind of getting together, but also allowing people to go off on their own to do their own thing, right? So their own thing will be, you guys meet some people in the group or with us as a whole, and have dinner, chit chat, get each other's phone numbers, whatever. There's so much to do in San Miguel, but during the meetup, we will have like 3 events, 1 each day. So there will be the welcome reception on Friday. You can see details on the website. I'm going to drop that in a minute in the chat. And then on Saturday in the morning, we're going to do a city walking tour, which will give you the history about San Miguel. And then on Sunday, we're going to have an all-white dress, jazz, and brunch at an amazing vineyard. So definitely don't want to miss the vineyard thing because it's just amazing. So I'm going to drop that in here. If you want to know more about it, I'm doing a free webinar next week, Monday. And if you go to my website, casaelm.com, you will find all the details under events for everything, okay? So this is like the direct link to what I just said, but you can find details to all the things that are happening. There are actually going to be 3 free webinars about the meetup. I think there's one in July and another one in September. I was more prepared last week with those dates. And let's see here. Redefining Your Life Abroad Summit. That's happening August 10th and 11th. And that will be with myself and 5 other very dynamic ladies who we all live in San Miguel. And this is the opportunity for people who not only want to know how to get to Mexico, because there's a lot of info out about that, maybe not as much in one place, but there's a lot about that. But it's like what to do after, especially for someone who is maybe doing a complete career or work or business change. Just how do I fit in? They want to see life from our perspective, from a family standpoint. How is it with, as a single person moving? How is it as a family? How is it as a couple? All the things that I think people don't necessarily address in depth before they move abroad. And I think it's really important to have these conversations. It's going to be a very dynamic weekend. And you'll see a lot more about this coming in the next couple of weeks to months. We are in collab with a lot of really cool other YouTubers and people, influencers that are doing things in the same arena. So you'll see more about that, but I'm going to drop that also. If you're interested in finding out more, it'll bring you directly to the page, and I hope it works. It tells me that it's too long, so I can't put it. So hang tight, let me just fix that. And then the last but not least, before we jump into Jessie's things, November 1st through the 3rd, okay, we're doing the Move to Mexico conference, and that's also going to be virtual and online. I will make more of a formal announcement about that towards the end of next week. You'll see more about it. We are just kind of trying to solidify a few things, speakers that we really want to bring on board. This will be a bit more diverse than the Redefining Your Life, because it will be focused on moving to Mexico and everything moving from how to ship. We're going to have a guy who does that. We're going to have, someone who's talking about the cultural norms and traditions of Mexico and etiquette. We're going to talk about in-depth conversations with an actual immigration attorney, okay? Not a consultant, an actual attorney that's been an attorney for over 10 years. I've talked about him before. He's never been on my actual channel, but I've actually had lots of interviews with him and conversations, just trying to learn about this process a bit more. So I'm excited to, keep working with this, and the group that we're working with, plus the speakers, it's going to be pretty in-depth. So we extended it by a day because it was a lot of information. So it's actually going to be 3 days, and it will be online, and it's now called the conference. So you'll see more about that as well. So hang tight. And other than that, I think I covered everything, my housekeeping things that I wanted to cover. And if you all have any questions along the way, please do feel free. But I want to say, this is Jessie Feliz. We met through Riley Jackson, who has a channel, radio station online.
Blacks at Radio.
Yeah, Blacks at Radio. And he and several of us, right, yourself and me and a bunch of other people, were asked to have a channel, and what did we want to do and play, and I was going to do the whole, Jamaican representation. But yeah, it was a lot. So I have to say I bowed out a couple of years ago, but they're still doing well, so I'm very happy for them.
Yes.
But it was just a lot that I had going on myself, and trying to do radio. I didn't know anything about the Scots broadcasting system, etc. So yeah, that's how we met. We started to talk. I told her about my ambitions being younger. I always wished that I had had the opportunity to be or see being a foreign exchange person or something like this through this lens, right? I didn't have that around me. I went to community college when I had like these burning desires, right? And so I never got to do it. And it's something that I think changes lives. I really do. And I think the younger you are, and it doesn't matter the age, but I think, if you are younger and you have the opportunity to do it, I think you should totally go for it. So I love what she does. And then we started to talk from there. And so here we are, fast forward to the present. And before I keep moving, for those who live in San Miguel, and if you happen to be watching this, do not forget June the 1st, that's this Saturday, we're having a Black Music Month.
Hey.
And yes, and it's going to be amazing. It's free for children. It's 300 pesos, which is like $16 or $17. There's going to be so many activities. I had the ladies on last week to talk more about it. So I'll look for those as Jessie's talking, and I'll drop them in the chat. So that's it. I'm done. You go. So welcome.
First of all, primeramente, gracias, mi amor. Thank you so
Sí.
much por ofrecerme la oportunidad de pasar un rato contigo. And I'm so looking forward to being in San Miguel. And since it's Wine Down Wednesday, I already had 2
Cheers.
sips. We need to say salud.
Cheers, salud.
Okay. Because I was like, wait a minute. I've been taking 2 sips. I didn't even give you an opportunity. We did not
No,
salute
that's
each
okay.
other.
That's okay. I'm only talking so much. I end up drinking at the end. So
Right.
go for it.
So, first of all, I still got to give my shout out to Blacks at Radio, because I would not have met you without Blacks at Radio. So,
Yes.
I'm just a big supporter of there are things that are happening outside of our control. And it's such a beautiful thing when those things that do happen that unite you with people that you can align with and have
Mhm.
similar energy with. And so I'm just so thankful for that. From the first time I heard you, like on our meetings and everything, and then we offline were communicating, and then, we planned this trip originally for last year, el año
Right,
pasado, but
right.
life be life, and most people
Yes.
who know me, they know that flag I got in the background. They know Costa Rica.
Mhm.
I was a exchange student there many moons ago, and I'm not going to dye my gray hair. Part of the package, darling. It's just part of the package. But in '05, I lived with a Costa Rican family for a semester with my amazing roommate, Tiffany from Skeet Town, or Muskegon. That's actually, she ain't from Skeet Town. We ain't skating like that. Muskegon, Michigan, had an amazing experience. And interesting enough, we were in San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica. And while we did take one tour to the Caribbean side, it was not like free exploration. And so
Mm.
being from Detroit, being from one of the historically and currently highest populated cities of Black people, when I would hear people say, don't go to Limon, muy peligroso, so dangerous. And I'm like,
Mhm.
why? You're like, hay morenitos, hay negros. I'm like, what you think
That's what
I
I
is?
am.
Right.
Exactly.
What you think I is, and where you think I'm from? So I fell in love with the Caribbean,
Okay.
specifically El Caribe Sur de Costa Rica, the South Caribbean of Costa Rica. Lived there 3 years, had my daughter. I was younger, had an at-home birth, el parto en casa
Wow.
of
Wow.
my daughter. Yeah, my son, when I moved back to the States, epidural at the hospital. I'm sorry. I just told her. I don't know how I did that jungle hookup.
Oh,
I had
Lord.
no medicine, todo natural. And it was a
Oh,
beautiful
no.
thing. I
No,
was
no.
29 at the time. I could do it. I was like
That's it.
34, 35 with my son. I'm like, I can't take this. Like all
That
that
is too
stamina was gone.
funny.
Um, but it changed my life. I am a
Mhm.
very big supporter of not just travel in general,
Mhm.
um, but conscious travel, and then
Mhm.
also socially conscious travel, right? Being mindful of the communities in which you are visiting, in which you are bestowing your presence and what that represents. Because again, it's not just you. You represent tu familia, tu cultura, and like many
Mhm.
other things. I love what the Afro Colombian Vice President Francia Marquez says, soy porque somos. I
Mhm.
am because of we.
Right.
So whatever you think you're doing, it ain't just you. It's your
Right.
antepasados, people who've gone before you, people who are rooting for you, and so being mindful of that whenever we're traveling. And
Mhm.
if you feel led to leave the country, not just for travel, but to actually migrate and live elsewhere, do your research and learn
Right.
about the community. That's why I support anyone that is interested in moving to Mexico for them to connect with you, Michelle, because I
Mhm.
think as Black people, just because of being children of the diaspora, right?
Mhm.
We feel comfort. Like, I don't know about you, but I feel like my whole life, and I know now we have the internet, so it's slightly different. We can search it on Google or TikTok, but like generally, even when someone tells me, "Oh, we're going here," and if it's a place I don't know, we're like, "Do Black people live there?" Like, I don't know. I feel like my whole life when I would, even in my own state,
Uh-huh.
obviously, again, now the internet, you could search more easily. But just growing up, I would always say, "Are there any Black people?" Like, you want to know. I mean, sundown
That's
towns
true.
were a real thing, and the lingering effects. I don't think members of the white community ever have to ask, "Are there any white people there?" I don't think that's
Right.
something with privilege because of the color of their skin, you
Mhm.
know, that they think about that. But as a Black person, I think um, once I lived in Costa Rica and then I found out that melanated people lived on the Caribbean side, like like
You
it
were
was,
there.
I was there, even though that's not my culture, right? That's not my language, it's not my culture, but
Right.
there was a connection
And
and
curiosity.
curiosity. And
Yes.
so it was such a beautiful thing. So whenever I travel anywhere, I'm always like looking for us. It just is a good thing. So if anyone is interested in Mexico,
Mhm.
why would you not want to connect with someone who not only shares your phenotype, but also culturally is Black American. Because, you know, it's different. You know, like someone who can connect with you and be like, hey, let me just give you the skinny on this. Or because
Right.
there's some things that you're not going to get from a Google search.
True. That's true. And
So
those
I
are good
love the work that you
points.
do. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's what I always said from the beginning. My information is here for all, but I wanted people to always see life through my lens. And whether they were, a person of color, black person or not,
Yeah.
I wanted to normalize us being in
Yes.
spaces that it seemed like we were not. And
Yes.
so that's really where this started in terms of being public and being out here on YouTube and talking about things. I mean, for me in college, I did a lot of videography, so I like to create beautiful things of my trips and, whatever it is that means something to me, more so from a personal level. But, putting yourself out there in a public way, if that's not your personality type or you're not as comfortable, it was a little bit, unnerving. I was kind of initially like, ooh, we're out here, we're talking about where we are, where we live, and what we're doing, and all these things, And I've had people even suggest to me, do more, like share your day to day. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, and so I do share like the things that I do around Mexico because I'm just so impressed with this country. Every time I leave to do something new, I'm just like, wow, who knew the things that, like you said, we didn't like even before moving here. I want to touch on the point you were saying in regard to being curious about seeing us, even if we don't share the same cultural language, the norms, and things like that. I remember growing up, in Connecticut, pretty much. Yes, I'm from Canada originally, but I grew up in Connecticut, and I was around a lot of people from Puerto Rico, but that was kind of the extent of it. And I remember when I went to this performance, and I don't remember the name of it, but they were Cuban performers in Connecticut, and they were all dark skinned, right? And this is the ignorance that I had, right? Because it was shocking to me initially to see dark-skinned Cubans because I had never really looked into this. And then even moving to Mexico 6 or 7 years ago, I knew that there were Afro-Mexicanos, but not like a whole area where, they're like celebrating in a way that is relatable, the dances and the African drumming and things like that. And it's like you instantly, yes, I became curious because I thought, wow, no one ever, like I never learned this in school. I never really
Right.
heard about it per se. And now I'm in Mexico and now I'm hearing about it. So it was a little surprising. Not that, it's not like, oh my gosh, it was more so, man, I never heard about this. I never knew. I didn't even know there was a whole, city or state or places
Right.
around, right? In the same when I traveled to Ecuador, same along the
Yeah.
coast. So all of the things that we just didn't learn. And so the curiosity does exist in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm just like a big supporter. I like to say I'm a language activist, because I believe the more you learn about other cultures, and in addition, the language, because the language is just a reflection of the worldview of the culture. And even
True.
though we do see a lot of like diluting happening, because with technology, you have a lot of blending, you have people, and it's not limited to your geographic location anymore, because
Right.
now we're being exposed to different cultures, different languages. But the beauty is like when you study a language and you learn more about the culture, of the people who speak that language, there's some things that cannot be translated,
Right.
but you can understand it.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing about language. So I just, not activist in the sense of I got to be out there lobbying with Congress, but like I want to help activate that passion for people. If you want to study a language, if you want to travel, if you want to learn about diverse cultures, and all those things will strengthen your own cultural understanding and awareness and linguistic skills. I want to be here to support you. And I'm never ever saying that I'm only for supporting and
Mhm.
empowering and encouraging Black people. It's just
Mhm.
my phenotype as being a Black American who speaks Spanish and English, who's from
Mhm.
Detroit, who's not Hispanic. I oftentimes get profiled that it's
Mhm.
only Black children that I serve, or Black families, or Black travelers that I support, lo siento serve. That's
Mhm.
just, my heart is for my people. I'm never gonna not do that, but all is welcome. So,
Right.
but I'm not
Right.
gonna not be who I am at the same time. Let me just,
Right.
that's the part. I'm not gonna change it. Hi, I'm corporate Jessie. That's not me.
No, no,
I
I
gotta be
totally,
organically me.
that's what I'm saying. I totally get that. I always say it's kind of a fine line because here I find that a lot of my clients happen to be Black women, right? Because they're out there and they're seeking and they're looking for something else. They're at that stage, maybe midpoint of life or closer to retirement, whatever it is, and they're looking for what are these like final chapters looking like for me. And while I still have the mobility and I can move around, and they're just like, oh, I never heard of this before. I always wanted to do this, and now I have a tribe. So I'm glad to be living in this time frame
Yeah.
where we can get on here and talk to our computers, and you can see us, and we can share information, and we can share, because I've been traveling since 1997, okay, internationally, and I never really thought like, wow, fast forward all of
Right.
these years, and I'll be able to really hone in on what it is to not just travel abroad, but to live abroad because I'm
Mm-hmm.
comfortable
Mm-hmm.
doing that. I prefer it. So I think that it's really a blessing for us to all be here front and center. I just want to say welcome to Dahlia. Hi.
Oli.
Hola. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you did tell us about your experience in Costa Rica and where you kind of did your language exchange and things like that. But where you are now, tell us a bit about, if you want to talk about Spanish swag, and then we can go into the group. And yes, because she's doing great things. And tell us about your school, right? You're building.
It's crazy, right? I would say this. Some people could say, "Oh, you're doing too much," and that's their opinion. That's
That's
fine.
not their business.
Right. None yet, none yet. Pero I'm a firm believer in pause for the cause and really consider all the things that give you joy.
Right.
Like, what things give you joy that genuinely make you happy, content, that make you feel good? Like, if you don't have to think about paying this bill or that, what are the things that give you joy? Because we're programmed to this one size fits all trajectory that's outdated, and it was never designed for us to begin with. And so
Right.
when things aren't lining up, or when we do these things but we're like not at peace on the inside, because then we can follow the steps, we can
Right.
check everything off, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't adding up. So when I think about all the things that give me joy, I love to talk. I was reflecting. I was with a group of teenagers for like their teen success week, and a couple weeks ago here in Michigan, and one of my co-facilitator asked me, because I referred to what Nipsey Hussle said, find your, rest in peace. He said, find your purpose or you wasting air. And so the co-facilitator, Miss Tracy, said, well, how do you find your purpose? She asked me that to share in front of the kids, and I was like, you know what? It's not like this mystical thing, like, oh,
Right.
honestly, there's a bunch of foreshadows when we're kids. I think back in second grade when I got my report card and I was so nervous. This is pre-digital grades, when you got that hard piece of cardboard paper to take
Right. I
home
remember that
and you
in
had
the
to return it
envelope.
in the envelope, right?
That parents
And
had to sign
he
it. You try to
signed,
fake their signature if you got a
right.
bad grade.
I remember clearly in second grade, I was so nervous because I had good grades, but the comment section, my teacher said, Jessica's very smart, but she talks too much.
I
And
know
I'm
I
like,
don't.
But
Oh.
I think about that was a foreshadow of, yes, I talk, but look how I use language now. In the word language, we say lenguaje, but in Spanish, la lengua. Like, how
Right.
do you, like your tongue? Like, I literally understand languages and am able to communicate with people. I'm an orator,
Right.
I'm a griot, I'm a verbal processor. It's my preferred way because I gotta express yourself. That's what I
Right.
do.
Exactly.
So I love speaking. I love encouraging people. because it encourages me to empower
Mhm.
others.
Mhm.
I specifically love teaching Spanish and English. I love working with adults. I love traveling. I love
Mhm.
nature as far as like being connected to it.
Mhm.
I love to dance. I love
Mhm.
music. I love to cook. So I'm like, wait a minute, how do I put all these different elements now? I know you got your Caribbean accent, but when I lived in the South Caribbean, so Costa Rica, I like to acquire language. So
Right.
Jessie, how do you add all of these things and make your passion into your paycheck, you know? And
Right.
so I'm like, you know what? I'm 39 years old. I'm about to be
Mhm.
40 years old up in this. Why not turn
I love
all
it.
of those things that I love to do
Mhm.
into a paycheck and
Exactly.
bring joy to other people?
Exactly.
Okay, no, like why not?
Yeah,
So why
exactly.
why am I saying like, oh, you doing too much? Like,
No, you can't listen to the naysaying because sometimes it comes from people who don't have the guts or enough of the nerve to pursue something too. And I can understand that as well. If you don't have like that full circle kind of like viewpoint, it's sort of like, how do I do this? If you've never done it. So I get that too, but don't listen to the naysaying. I know you're not listening to the naysaying, so do
at
you?
this point, I'm not because also I love to write. So June 1st, I choose this version of me. It's an inner workbook I just created.
Yes, yes,
I'm so thankful. I
yes.
literally just picked up the physical proofs today. So that will be available as well. I've been
Okay.
just doing a lot of inner work. I've been doing it for years, but at this point in my life, I'm recognizing it's like A plus B equals C. I have to acknowledge those external influences, factors, just the
Right.
context. Like, I'm not going to dismiss those things and how they've impacted me, but I can't skip over the B. That variable is very important. That's your being. What is it about you, Jessica, that given those external influences triggers you to make certain choices. Because now I'm at the point where it's like, wait a minute, if I can recognize that who I am, and I have to be able to strategize and have self-supporting practices for me. The way that I might be able to navigate making a decision, it may not be self-supporting for someone else. So now I'm
Right.
at the point where I'm like, wait a minute, because I don't want to live anymore. MLK said, don't wallow in the valley of despair. I don't want any more to be focusing on, well, because this person said this to me and this person treated me like this and this outcome happened. We have divine precious energy and we do not
True.
know the amount of time that we are allocated for this life. So why
Exactly.
am I going to keep wallowing on the past? I need to heal from that, and healing is a lifetime. I need to practice every single day. Not It's not enough to say I'm practicing gratitude. Oh, I'm going to meditate and we put these things in
Right.
isolation. No, it has to be interwoven in everything we do. Like
Exactly. It has to
um
be your top of mind, how you move, how you think, and it's hard to uncondition certain things.
oh yeah, because we've been
Yeah.
programmed. Like you
Right.
literally have to unlearn,
Right.
because I don't want to make any more decisions in my life where I'm not 100% um comfortable in even holding myself accountable.
Right.
Like if I chose to do this, that, and the third, even if they were bad decisions, I want to be able to own that.
Right. Right. And
Right.
not
I
always
don't want
finger
to,
point at a problem.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a tendency to do that. And, I know I've done it a lot in the past. I think, as I get older, I think, well, what was your role? Like, what was your part in it? You chose that. It was okay when you chose it. So, and then you choose other things because maybe that wasn't good and you figured it out, right? You don't just sit in it. So I think that
Yeah.
that's an everyday kind of like thing. It's like, okay, all of these things happened, and regardless, because there are some external circumstances that will still throw
Of
you
course.
off that you may not have had necessarily specific control over, but you have control over how you move forward with those
Yes.
decisions. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's just like where I'm at. On the surface, it's like, oh, Spanish teacher, teacher trainer. I'm opening up my learning center here
Yes.
up
Tell
in
us about that.
Detroit. okay.
Tell us
So
about it.
excited.
What's the name of it and
It's the
what's the
Jessie
purpose?
Feliz Learning Center. This is
Oh,
our
nice.
flagship location.
Mhm.
All praise to the Most High God. I'm praying that if it's in His will, then He gonna pay that bill because I'm hoping to make Jessie Feliz Learning Center a neighborhood name where it
I
doesn't matter
love
what
it.
your family's socioeconomic status, you can have a high quality bilingual learning program after school
I
on
love it.
Sundays and on during the summertime. And
I
if
love
your parents
it.
can afford it and if you receive child care subsidies, we got you. So
I
it's
love
not
it.
because oftentimes in lower socioeconomic areas, you have nonprofits, but I'm
Mhm.
nonprofit oriented, but I'm still for profit.
Right.
So I
Okay.
charge the same exact hourly rate that DHS pays. So if your child qualifies for food assistance and or a child care subsidy, I
Mhm.
mean, it's associated with your EFC, your estimated family contribution. So
Okay.
like, but if your family can afford it, then they can afford it because I get so I'm Jessie Feliz, but what makes me unfeliz is when I think about in affluent areas. And I can't even be mad at the individuals. That's where you reside. You pay your
Mhm.
taxes. That's what you have. But the injustice is the quality of programming that is offered to those children
Exactly.
does
Exactly.
not always equate to what's being offered to children in other zip codes. And
Mhm.
that's where I'm like, you know what?
Mhm.
Mm-mm. So
Yeah.
that's what
Good
Jessie
for
Feliz Learning
you.
Center is hoping to solve in
Good.
different
I love
communities,
it.
starting in Detroit, and then we
I
gonna do what we
love
gonna
it.
do.
I love it. I love the before, during. I don't think you're fully at the after,
Oh no,
but
we're so close. So Jakasi, it's just like, okay, but honestly, when I talk about self-supporting practices, right? Because
Mhm.
anyone is like, oh, I've mastered and nothing can ever get out of here. Healing is a lifelong journey because just
Mhm.
being a human is traumatizing.
Right.
There's some traumatic ish that happens, right?
Right.
And so I know it's crazy. For me, it is like literally a healing space and place just
Mhm.
to go visit the property as it's going through this.
I
And it's
love
crazy because
it.
I go sometimes every 2 months. I mean, listening
Mhm.
to every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then during the into the thick of it of winter, I was going like once a month because it just slowed down because there's certain
Right.
things. It's Michigan. You can't
Mhm.
do some external things that you need done because it's like freezing.
It's freezing.
Um, but you already know about that CT, okay? Like all day,
That's
every
why I
day.
don't live there. I left in
Right.
2002.
Girl,
Too
I'm
cold.
trying to set stuff up so I can be gone in these winters. I love
That's true.
Michigan outside, but
Outside of winter.
I'm gonna keep that comment. I was about to say, but nope, nope. I'm live. I'm gonna keep that one comment. But it's nice. It's just nice sometimes in the winter too. I'll just say that. Is that appropriate? It's nice.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
fireplace is nice in the winter too.
It's cold here in the winter, so I can't imagine there. Canada, Connecticut, Northeast New England. No.
Mm-mm.
I've been away so long that just the thought, I don't even care. Well, I was going to say if someone offered me a job paying me, I don't think I would take it. It would have to be quite a bit. Yeah, because it's just cold, it's miserable. I would need to be able to stay inside and not drive anywhere, because that's what I remember about winter
Yeah.
was shoveling snow, having to be at work at a certain time, having to cut my speed into like half or just a third of what it normally would be, and then panicking all the way home because, it was getting dark and it's starting to snow again, it's slippery, icy, and all those things. I always used to be so nervous about skidding into a ditch and no
Hmm.
one found me till like springtime.
I
So,
mean, life definitely started near the equator, right? We are meant to
okay.
be closer to the equator, most definitely.
Exactly.
I will just say a disclaimer. It's a beautiful thing when you can share winters with people who you love because, that seasonal depression don't hit the same.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, that's why I left. I was like, yeah, I left. I was so happy living in Florida in general. Yes, it's hot, blah, 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 but it didn't feel as bad as living in cold weather,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Because I mean, think
I
about what
just
the bears
loved
do.
it.
Think about what animals do.
Yeah, they
Animals either
hibernate.
migrate, right?
Right,
Or they hibernate,
right, true.
or there's some that be thugging it out. So
Right?
I guess we be thugging it out, but
That's true.
also allowing your body to do your version of hibernation. And and I even think about that, even the concept of January 1. That is not the first of the year. That's the first of the fiscal year. That's
True.
not the first. Think about spring, la primavera. Like, I
That's
mean, why
true.
are we trying to go against nature? So we set all these goals. January 1, I'm gonna do all this. You're
And
the
freezing.
body is freezing. You're
Oh,
not even the earth is still tilting back. It's on the uptick. It's not,
right.
it ain't ticked yet.
It's not there.
So it's not there yet. So I'm just trying to be in alignment with nature as much as possible with the seasons, physical seasons as well as the different seasons of my life. And right now I'm just like, let's just spring forward. Let's just do the dang
Yeah.
thing. More days, more daylight. Be joyful, be thankful. That does not mean that it won't happen to have you like, what in the world? But
Right. It's life. That's it.
yeah,
I'm always on the go. Like it's insanity right now. Like even today, I
yeah,
was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Am I going to get all this stuff done? And you have to delegate. And I have a hard time delegating. And I have great people who help me. And then like I forget, like, okay, well, what did we last talk about? And what are they supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to follow up? It's just nonstop. But at the same time, I think that we also need to learn how to shut it down. That's the part I'm not great at, and I
yeah,
overcommit. But in the end, I do think that you know, these are the foundational layers of the new things that we've chosen to do, right? For yourself, starting your learning center, doing Spanish swag, doing these trips once a year or twice a year, whatever your schedule is. And we'll talk about the activities and all the stuff in a moment because I'm very excited about it. I'm
yes,
excited about it in so many ways, not just because it's going to be here, but in Casa ELM, but it's something that I've always wanted to host or do or be a part of. And I think that this is going to, continue to grow. But it's just the way things are sometimes, right? It is life, right? Dahlia said, life is life, embrace it. Yes,
yes.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Dahlia.
Be a
Yes,
superstar while you do it, right? Snap, snap,
yes.
snap. So yeah, we plug through, and I think we also still have to find moments, especially as Black women, because I know that I try my best to wear my superhero cape all the time, and it's not intentional. It is
It
not
ain't
intentional.
my fault. Did I do
It's
that?
just the way I am. I'm always like,
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, you're doing too much, But anyway, we're staying grateful and blessed. So
yeah.
let's talk about August 12th through
12th through the 18th.
18th.
El 12 de agosto hasta el 18. So excited. We are
Me
going to be
too.
all up in San Miguel de Allende with our beautiful host, Michelle of Casa ELM. I am elated,
Me
eufórica.
too. Me
This is
too.
gonna be a marvelous time. I'm excited that two of the ladies that are coming so far, they traveled with me to Costa Rica last year. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
real geeked and excited about that. And hopefully Terry and Mills are gonna come through and spend some of the activities with us as well.
Awesome.
Terry had the opportunity to stay at Casa Elm. I recommended that a couple years ago when I was working with her Spanish during the pandemic, and she loved it.
Yes,
And
I
she did
love
not leave.
Terry. I
She's
miss
her whole
her.
energy is like bomb.com. That's
Yes, I miss her.
yes, she's amazing. I can't wait. It was so beautiful to be with her in person. Cause like for a
Yes,
year we were virtual, and then that's something that's like I'm so excited to see you as well. Like you can have this virtual exchange or be on WhatsApp or
right.
talking,
That's
but then
right.
like to be in person, it's like, oh,
Yes, so people know we haven't met in person yet.
not
We
yet.
have had many conversations
Yes.
through the radio thing, through this idea, me coming to you because I was like, oh my God, I love what you're doing with Spanish swag. And I've, had this thing and you were already kind of doing it with Costa Rica. So here we are, literally like 4 years later, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, time flies.
Wow. I think since the pandemic, it's like I get the years mixed up.
Me
Sometimes I'm like, was
too.
that 21? Was that 20? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like 2020 is almost kind of like the restart. It's like, okay, what
Yeah.
happened in 2020 and after? Like if you ask me what happened in 2000 or 2000, I'll be like, not sure, but I know what happened from 2020 on.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah, it
crazy.
definitely was a restart. It on a
Hmm.
lot of different levels. Um, so this trip is going to be amazing. It's for Spanish language lovers and
Hey,
learners. We also got a fellow Spanish teacher coming along with us as well.
oh,
Super
nice.
excited about that.
Okay.
I'm just so thankful for us to be in your beautiful guest house with
Thank
this
you.
authentic the past 4 years just looking at like the architecture in this authentic style. I know you mentioned there are other places and they modernize it and make it more Americano or whatever the style. They
Mhm.
wanted to have this modern look. And that's
Right.
fine too, right?
Hmm.
I'm just excited to like physically and holistically experience Casa ELM,
Thank
as
you.
well as just being in your presence. So I love that you have this beautiful kitchen. So instead of having a traditional continental breakfast, no, you get freshly available produce and
Yes.
things to prepare your
Seasonal
breakfast,
things, the
seasonal
seasonal
things.
fruits, and
Yes,
yes. And
I'm
also,
excited.
let's talk about Michelle for a moment. Michelle
Yes.
Watson, Ingenuity. She came in earlier.
Oh, let me share.
She's our official tea sponsor. I need to remember to mention her like every single show. She packaged a whole box of like different flavors, replenishing my
Okay.
supply.
So
So I
can we
just want to
purchase
talk
some
about
tea while
that.
we're there to bring back with
Absolutely. And you
us?
can also purchase it in the US online and have it shipped to your US address, okay?
What? Okay,
Yes,
what's the plug? What's cómo se
it's
llama?
Ingenuity, like Ingenuity and Spice Company. So just do a Google search and then it'll come to her website and all her flavors. And they're so amazing. She was our sponsor for our last two influencer weekends. She came, she did a tutorial, and I'm talking health benefits galore, right? So I just wanted
Okay.
to give her another plug. I need to add that to
Oh, I love it.
my list. Yes.
100%
So
female, black, and veteran owned.
yes,
Yes.
yep.
And so is she based in San Miguel?
No, she's actually in the U.S. and I believe she lives in, I want to say Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, if she's on, she'll correct me. So
Oh, I love it.
basically, ingenuity.
Yeah, I see I'm on her website right now.
Yeah. Um, so that's always here. All the flavors you get to
Yes.
try, the different
Oh,
flavors.
yes.
They're amazing. There she is. There she is. Hi, Michelle. Hi
Hola,
again.
Michelle. Michelle, I'm ordering some of your tea because I'm all about the tea. I be making my own tea, but I'm all in
No,
support of it. That's just
they're
what.
so amazing.
Oh, I can't wait to blend.
Okay, she lives in Northern Virginia.
Okay, VA. Okay, tell
Yes.
Chris Brown I said, hey, when he gonna come to Detroit and dance with me? Because I would like to dance with Chris Brown a little. Tell him I said what up though.
I love it. So check her out. I'm adding
Yes,
it to my housekeeping list so that I can plug her
yes.
each time. She's
I'm gonna have to order
amazing.
this Caribbean collection because I really like here that it says you get this coconuts, organic
Yes.
shredded coconuts. I'm
I
definitely gonna
little
want that.
she
Mm.
had a special flavor called pecan pie, and I made an iced tea out of that. I don't know if that's the right thing that I was supposed to do, but it's so hot right now that I have been making jugs of her iced tea or teas into iced tea, and they're amazing. So if you all haven't checked her out already, please do
Love
so.
this. Thank you for that plug.
Yes, yes. Again, Ingenuity and Spice Company. Google it because I don't want to type it out because I might. And she said, no, not Chris Breezy. Cute. I love it.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at all of these. I'm ordering. I'm gonna
Oh, you
keep
have
this
to.
tab
You
up right
need to.
there.
You need to. They're amazing. So, yes, you all check her. She comes in, she slides in on Wednesdays, and I just want to acknowledge that her stuff is amazing. I know that she's putting a book together, I believe, for women's health and the benefits of drinking her amazing teas. So, stay tuned for that.
Okay, okay. Shout
So
out to
that's,
Michelle. Can we take a sip
yeah.
for Michelle?
Okay, yes. And this is the tea.
Eh,
Cheers.
Cheers. I gotta give me some of that tea. I'm looking at this right here.
Yes, I made a big pot yesterday and cooled it. It's so good. And
I
you don't
love
need a
it.
lot, like it has so much flavor. You don't need to put a lot of, like you don't need a lot of honey or sugar if you like it a little sweet.
You know what I've been doing? I do not even add honey unless I really, really want to. I don't even add honey because I want to absorb all the benefits without that. And if I want a
Right.
little, I might add some
A
fresh
dab.
orange juice. Not even
That's a good
honey.
idea.
I'll just add a little bit of orange juice. If I
That's a
like, and
good
I do
idea.
that with my I add the orange juice to sour sop. I do sour sop tea regularly, and I'll
Nice.
just squeeze a little bit of orange juice in there. But
I love soursop.
guanábana.
Caribbean fruit.
Yes.
Guanabana.
Oh, I can't.
Guanabana.
All in
Okay.
one. So back to the itinerary. So people arrive
Yes.
on Monday the 12th. You get that private shuttle directly to Casa ELM. Again,
Yes.
the original package is already sold out for Casa ELM, but you can
Yes.
reach out to Michelle specifically to get more information about where you can get your own Airbnb. If you want to do the travel party pass, you can still participate in all the activities. It's just transportation and your accommodations is on you, and you have to just make sure you're at Casa Elm in the morning for our Spanish lessons, and then all the activities are included,
Right.
from
In
on
that
site
package. Right.
in
And
that package.
so I wanted to clarify too, if you want to purchase the travel party pass, is that what it's
Yes.
called? Okay, for the week, you need to go to jessiefeliztravel.com. I
Yes.
dropped it earlier. I'm going to drop it again. Hold on a
Gracias,
second.
mi amor. Yes, and then that's how you can sign up for the travel party pass. And so Monday, every day we have this beautiful kitchen for us to prepare breakfast.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to make my cinnamon coconut pancakes for everyone.
Ooh,
I
that
really love
sounds
cinnamon.
delicious.
Yes,
That
and
sounds delicious.
I have
Yeah.
to master this with chickpeas because I'm really trying to be plant-based. I'm not vegetarian, but I'm shifting to being plant-based as much as possible and not have animal products as my protein source. I want
Yeah.
I want beans to be more of my protein source. But I make really good homemade chicken sausage. But, you
Ooh.
know,
Homemade chicken sausage. That sounds interesting. Okay.
yeah, yeah, I do. But
Well, I think what's nice about your plan is that you all can gather, because that is the place where people love to gather the most, is in the kitchen and the surrounding areas of the kitchen. The kitchen is huge. So, not only is there a lot of counter space and whatever, if everyone wanted to jump in and cook and prepare, there's also like an island in the middle that seats 6 people. So there's a lot of space, and we always are hanging in the kitchen. Like when I'm cooking, and sometimes a lot of times people will sit on the couch, but when I have like a lot of guests, people just gravitate. And this has been like for decades.
I
At
love
every
it.
house I've lived in, yeah, people like to just hang out in the kitchen, no matter the
Early on
size.
Sunday
Sunday
morning,
morning,
breakfast was
what's
on
on
the
the
table.
table?
My whole life is like a podcast, so I feel like I have a song for
A
I always have
song
like
for everything.
I do for everything. But I don't know.
That's
I'm
so
super
funny.
excited just for
Me
like,
too.
you know, I know we have an itinerary and that's listed on the site. Please check it out as I go over a few more items. But I also am I think it's from my time living in the South Caribbean. I have to say this. I like go with the flow. Like while we have start times and things like that, and we say CP time. In Costa Rica, they call it Tico time, and it's not limited to you being black or not. It's just like you're event
Pico time.
oriented. In
Right,
the US, we're
right.
time oriented. It says 7:45, arrive at 7:30. I would never forget being an exchange student and class started maybe at 8 o'clock and we're all waiting there. And I think what the college rule is, after 15, 20 minutes, definitely after a half an hour, you leave. Like the professor,
Ooh,
we were
yeah.
there and someone came and said, "Oh, she'll be here." And the professor arrived like 45 minutes late and we were looking and she was like, "Oh, I ran into my vecina. I haven't seen her in so long." And had this whole conversation. It was 45 minutes and then started class. And I was like, I love this.
Everyone's so chill. Now, see, I would have to work on myself, because if you tell me a time, I'm going to
I
be
know. I
there,
try. I try.
but I'll have to work on myself. However, I do think coming into this, because it is a cultural immersion, that this is the norm, to be more relaxed and more chill about things. I've certainly learned to do that, especially when it comes to like people who are supposed to show up at my house. But I have to say this, contrary to the more popular thing or belief in Mexico, is I actually have had some amazing experiences with individuals who come on time or even earlier and consistently without fail. And so I just have to put that out there because I've been here for 6 years, and I would say that the experience for me has been more of a on-time, reliable thing. And I always say this, I'm like, I'm sorry, but the Mexicans are about their money, right? They're like, oh, you need me right now? Like if I called a few people right now at 6:55 and I needed something, they would come. Yeah. And I love
Yeah,
that. There's no
yeah.
middleman. I don't have to call an 800
It's
number.
that strong work ethic.
And yeah, and it's also there, yeah, making my money. I'm gonna charge you a little more because it's emergency. So
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, before we go on, I wanted to say welcome to VCH, Certified Life Change Training, and you, life coach. She may have told me her name last week, or he or she. Sorry, I'm just labeling them. But I just wanted to say welcome to that
What up,
person.
WBC?
Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, you guys, and subscribe
And
to my
subscribe.
channel. That's right, if you've been here before. Okay, tell us more about the agenda, because I'm
Yes.
waiting for you to get to the part that yeah, the
I
cooking.
mean,
Talk
yeah.
about the
Oh, yeah. Okay.
cooking,
So first
dancing.
of all, hold on. I took notes on this one. So everyone's gonna arrive from different cities. So, but again, if you're part of the main group, the transportation's included. If you need that arrangement, holla at your girl so we can set things up for you or navigate it on your own. It's all up to how you want to do that. But that welcome dinner, y'all. Let's talk about them grits and couscous real quick. Can we talk about them grits and couscous?
Let's talk about it.
Look, I made sure to say, look, Michelle was like, "Well, what type of meal would you like? With some salmon?" Girl, she said she gonna make some grits and couscous. Tell us about that welcome dinner, boo.
Yes, okay, so when did I even come up with adding couscous? Well, okay, I love couscous and I love grits. I didn't appreciate grits as much when I was in the US because it was easy to have. So, for those of you who've been following me, you know I'm always talking about grits, and sometimes people bring grits for me as a gift. So, feel free if you're coming here to bring me some grits. I like to stock up, and note this, I always share it. I never really cook grits for myself, just in general. I always cook grits for my guests and I mix it with couscous. I always do the two together. Don't remember where this came about, but I think I just had a epiphany one day. I said, these two things are very similar. And this is like the regular couscous. I have to preface that because there's like the Israeli couscous, which is different. They're like more like beaded and round, like little round balls things. Not that, right? And the texture is very similar. So what I like about the couscous and adding them together, first they cook around the same amount of time. You do cook it a little. I add a lot of things, okay? All fattening, but delicious and creamy and rich. But it beefs it up. It's not like, grits can be soupy if you put too much liquid in it. And the couscous just kind of makes it more like meal-ish. So one of the things that I like to make, and these are all meals that I just kind of experimented along the way, like something pops in my brain, I'm like, ooh. So most recently was taking is it adobe chipotle peppers that come in the little can with the little like kind of abuelita on the can. It's kind of spicy. Taking those peppers and adding cream and garlic and onion, pepper, tomatoes, and all this. And so it's kind of like a Mexican kind of like prep, the way it tastes. It's almost like a chipotle, creamy chipotle, but in a gravy kind of style. And then I cook my salmon in like kind of like a plancha, pan fried in butter with Cajun seasoning and all that. And then I add the sauce and everything on top of the grits and couscous mix. And I cook my grits and couscous. It's so good. I have to say that it's really good. So if you're like watching your weight, this probably is not for you, or take a little bit. It's very filling. I add heavy cream, I add butter, and the whole nine, but it's delicioso.
That's the black SMA welcome package by
Yeah.
Casa ELM. You're gonna get some couscous and grits.
Yes, and I've
Okay.
even made, so what are the few things I've done with couscous and grits? Curried salmon on top of couscous grits mix. What else? Shrimp, the same sauce and or curry. So I like to make a dinner out of it. So people are always kind of like expecting that it was going to be like a breakfast thing, and it's usually a dinner thing. And it's really good because it's filling. It's like, it just, it's a different presentation. So that's what we're going to be having,
That's that
basically.
welcome dinner. That is the welcome bienvenido dinner
See,
for us all. I love it. Then every day
absolutely.
when we wake up, we make our breakfast at Casa Elm. We
Yes.
come together individually and collectively and do that. We have a brief Spanish lesson, and it's not going to be like, hola, ¿cómo estás? It's whatever we are doing for that day. We're going to review some target vocabulary, grammar, but making it as my whole concept of Spanish swag is learning how to speak como una persona nativa, like learning how to speak like a native speaker. So, for example, Tuesday we go to La Tianguis Open
Yes,
Market, which I'm so excited where you're gonna have the opportunity to purchase. And Michelle, you can tell us more about Tianguis, like how that
I
market
will.
is. But you'll have the opportunity to practice your Spanish, purchasing
Exactly.
items like real things that you can bring back to cook with, some things that you can bring back with you, and
Yeah,
so obviously that morning Spanish lesson is going to be on like exchanging things and
I
like
love it.
spending money and like making it applicable so that you can get some real world, not only application, but practice. So tell us a little bit
Absolutely.
about that open air market.
Okay, first I want to say welcome to my friend Nadine.
Hey Nadine,
Hi.
Holly.
Hi. Hola, all the way from Georgia.
All
She and
right,
I went
Georgia,
to, right, you know,
Georgia.
right? Oh, mama. So she and I went to UGA in 91 or 92. That's how long I've known her. It's amazing. We're still friends. So with the Tianguis, which is Mercado, like a Mercado market, and in English, I guess it'd just be a simple Tuesday market.
Yeah,
That's what the gringos say. It's amazing because it's so authentic Mexican, in my opinion. I always say it's everything and nothing at all. For those who followed me online, you can know that there are several videos about the market. I think I did a live there once, and you can kind of see it's very lively. There's so much to see, so much to do. There will be an extreme amount of interaction if you choose it. There's just everything, you can sit down and eat at so many vendors that are selling tacos and just things, fried fish and shrimp and chopped pork and whatever. I like to go there on Sunday because Sunday is actually a little bit more chill. But those are the only 2 days of the week. So Tuesday is like the big tianguis, and it's amazing. Like I said, anything you want, clothes, you can find clothes. You want incense, you can find that. You can find fruits and vegetables galore. They have couple seafood stands, chicken, animals for sale. It's just one of those places. Right, exactly. You want a chicken, you can actually buy a chicken. You want rabbits and fish and you name it. There's just like everything, leather goods, furniture. So it's really, to me, a very authentic place to definitely practice the language. It's not touristy, and that's what I love about it.
right.
The prices are amazing for fruits and veggies. It's just alive. It's an alive place and it's huge. So just kind of come prepared to practice, but also maybe sit down and eat and shop a little bit. I have my specific places and people that I go to, and then I get the heck on out of there, especially now because it's hot outside. And it's covered, but it's still out, like it's a covered tent, but it's still outdoors or whatever. So definitely a part of the experience that I think is well worth the while and a must do, a must see.
I'm so excited
Me
for
too.
everyone to have that experience. I'm excited.
Me
I'm
too.
excited. I always try to blend in the hood and be camouflage, but I'm gonna have my camera out doing my Jessie Feliz Spanish swag hookup.
Absolutely.
So I'm
Absolutely.
super excited for everyone to have that experience. Then I wanted to make sure, because I know sometimes when there are itineraries for immersion programs, it's like boom, 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 so many different activities, and you get back to your hotel or your room and you're like, oh, so that is like the main thing for that day. Then we come back and it's like lunch and dinner on your own, but a lot of stuff that you're gonna eat, like Michelle just said, at the market. So some of those things you could bring with you. Also, Uber
Mhm.
Eats, you said, is available. So if you're like, you know
Mhm.
what, that was a big day, I want to just like chill. I don't want to leave back out and go to this restaurant. They have that option too, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we
Yeah.
have Uber Eats, or you can pick up something on the way, or you can cook. It's a fully stocked kitchen, and when I say fully stocked, not stocked with food. Most things are there, like seasonings, pots, pans, cooking utensils. There's, oil if you need it, so you don't have to buy, like the basic things to get you started. So what a lot of my guests have done in the past is they will grocery shop on that first day that they arrive, and they'll kind of just get, their little knickknacks and whatever. Some want to cook breakfast and or dinner. So I think it's kind of on you to choose to do whatever it is you want, or just buy pre-made things as well. The two grocery stores that are major here, you can buy prepared foods as well, and
Yeah.
warm them up later. So you won't be hungry. And trust, you got to fit in a trip to City Market probably at the beginning of the tour. Somewhere in there, you definitely need to go to City Market because it's so beautiful and amazing. And yeah, people like to go in there and ooh ah and get stuff, and then they're usually all set for the rest of the week.
Wow,
Yeah,
I'm
it's really cool.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the rest of that day is just lunch and chill, on your own, dinner on your own. On Wednesday, we're taking, now this is the part. Look, I've been waiting on all of this, but y'all, I'm really gonna act a fool. But I can't act a fool at 7:30 in the morning. So we're gonna take an early AM trip to La Gruta Hot
Yes,
Springs.
my favorite thing to do.
Did you hear that
Yeah.
voice change? Did you hear el tono de la voz
Yes.
se cambió? Did you hear that? So we're gonna go there and just bask in these natural, beautiful hot springs at La
Yes.
Gruta. Um, and then we're going to head out to El Campo in the afternoon after brunch to have this tortilla making class, y'all. You're gonna come to Mexico y
Yes.
aprender cómo preparar tortilla, like
Sí.
right straight up casado mode. And I'm so excited. Tell us un
Me
poquito
too.
más about that one, Michelle.
So basically, we are going to go out into what they call a campo, which is the country, or rancho. And this is going to be put on by the rancheros in their home. They're welcoming us into their home. They're going to teach us how to make corn tortillas from scratch. And yeah, we're going to get all the ingredients. It's going to be another cooking kind of, not necessarily a cooking class, but it's going to be interactive in that way. You can ask questions, and then they're literally going to be in an environment where no one speaks English. Yeah, because it's approximately, to get out there, just to get out there, it's at least 35-ish minutes. We're providing the transportation from the house to the space. They're really excited, and it's going to be very authentic because this is going to be in someone's home. Probably nothing real fancy.
Can
I
I just
sent
put
you
a
some
disclaimer? This is one,
pictures.
yeah, I have to say this disclaimer, Michelle. So one thing about me, people who know me, um, I am never gonna be anti this luxurious hookup. Like,
Right.
do your sandals oriented trip if that's what you choose to do. Like again, it's your money, it's your life.
Yeah.
Haga lo que quiere. The thing is, I strive for organic experiences.
Me too.
And it ain't nothing like going to mom pop's house,
Yes.
obviously with people
Right.
we ain't just gonna show up on the block somewhere, and go there and learn in this authentic, like you said, environment, authentic
Right.
setting.
Exactly.
There's so much, and I know with a mass production, you automatically lose quality. So you could go to the store and purchase something that's, fabricado, and you can buy this tortilla, but that is not gonna slap the way it slaps when it's made fresh in El
Exactly.
Campo. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's I'm excited about it because this is something that we talked about. And initially, when we spoke about it, I had a different location in mind. And I was kind of like, oh, like who else can do this, because I did it at that other location. It was someone's home, right? Their property, and a few like families in the family, a few of them had like their little houses, and they just gather in these spaces.
Mhm.
And it was really authentic and beautiful. They invited us for Posado at Christmas and a few other things, and it was beautiful. And I had that in my mind when you started talking to me, and we were talking about cooking classes and stuff. And I said, okay, this isn't quite what they do, but I said to Sandra, I was just like, hey, does anyone in your family make tortillas? Which is like, ha ha ha, of course, right? Claro. And so I said to her, all right, I have a group that's coming in August. Do you have any space anywhere where we could actually come out to where you are? And I think she was kind of like, oh, like, hmm. And I said, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about being fancy and all that other stuff. So this pretty much like one thing led to another. And I sent you the photos, it's like an authentic
Yeah.
charcoal kind of oven and the comal. And so I'm very excited about that as well. And I think it's just going to be us gathered in like a small kitchen,
But
hands
it's
on
real. We have
deck.
to, I always say to everyone, like my buzzword is we have to humanize experiences.
True.
Like we are all, it's interesting enough in Panamanian sign language. Put your hands up, I see. The same way that you got to do this when you see a cop. This
Yes.
means todos somos humanos. This means we're all human.
True.
You know? So
True.
like we're all human. We have different experiences, but if we humanize these things, they're welcoming us into their home
Right.
and they can do it for different reasons, but one of those reasons is they want to be able to share
Right.
something that may seem like, hey, this is lo normal, like this is what we do, but this is something that they're able to humanize with us, like, wow, like this is something we
Right.
get to see like homemade or like organically. I think it's a beautiful
Right.
thing. Just
It
like it might be
is.
something, and it's nothing. I think that's why, Michelle, I was going to tell you when you were describing earlier how you arrived at mixing grits and couscous. I'm gonna say cuckoo, couscous and grits. I meant to tell you, I saw so much joy on your face, and it was
Aw.
emitting, even thousands of miles away from each other. I could see it and experience it from you because cooking does that.
It
It
does.
is,
Food and bringing people together, food and music.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure I said that. So I'm super excited about that experience. We come back. And again, part of dinner on your own, bring back some of those tortillas,
Excellent.
a la casa,
Exactly.
and add something to it and bada boom, bada bing. Then
Exactly.
Thursday, breakfast in casa, morning Spanish lesson. Then we're going to do a landmarks and lunch tour of downtown SMA. I'm excited for that. And people, it's dinner on your own. You may want to say, you know what? I want to come back to Casa ELM, chillax, do whatever. You may want to like parlay some more downtown in El Centro. Like
Right.
you have that liberty to do that.
And I
Um,
want to say real quick too, there will be a list of things, that I always have for all my guests, but there will be a list of things that they can get into on their own as well.
I was gonna ask you, Michelle, what is the proximity as far as like once they're in a taxi, how long does it take from El Centro to Casa ELM?
It's about, depending on where you are in Central and the time of day because of traffic, but if you just had a straight drive, it's about a 10-minute maybe ride. It's not very far, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, no more than that. And it also depends on where you're getting in and out because if you're by the grocery stores, then it's like 7 minutes. If you're deep in Central, then it could be 10 to 12 minutes or so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's just a reference point for
Yeah.
everyone. And then Friday, I'm excited about Friday. Friday is basically after breakfast and lunch. It's a free day, lunch and dinner on your own, but we are going to, ¿cómo se llama el lugar? Possibly we're going to go to Mamma Mia's for
Mamma
dance.
Mia's to dance. They have live Cuban music. Well, salsa. You can go salsa dancing. I won't say Cuban but it is kind of more Cuban style. And yeah.
I
Get
told you I love
down,
the dance.
down.
I'm over here. I'm already
Right?
getting it. I'm already getting it. I'm getting it. So we're
Okay.
gonna do that, and we'll be inviting Black SMA. a lot of
Yes.
Black expats for that social hour for that evening.
Yes.
Super duper excited. And what we added to the itinerary is para el sábado, for Saturday. We are
Yes.
gonna go to Cañada de la Virgen
Yes.
pyramid, which is a smaller pyramid than what might be publicly or more commonly known, closer to DF, closer to
Right.
Mexico City, but this is closer to SMA.
Right.
And she tells un poquito about that, about Cañada.
Okay, so it's a fairly newly discovered, meaning, it was discovered, or I should say, I can't say discovered because what I learned, and I'll explain I'll explain better what I was going to say about it is that a lot of what I've heard and learned from the people who discovered this particular site is that there are a lot of ruins, they call them ruins, that are buried. And people that live in those areas in the towns, they know about them, but the government doesn't always want to pay to excavate
Wait,
and also create like a road and the whole tourism thing, blah, blah, blah. So I think the reason why this one, I think, is called Cañada de la Virgen is because someone discovered it and it was maybe like a foreigner or they put money into creating and enforcing, not forcing, but, like encouraging the government to go ahead and make it a tourist attraction. So it's only 20 minutes or so from Casa ELM, and it's really lovely. It's way out. It's, believe, close to or a part of the lands that are owned by the Otomes, which is an indigenous tribe here in Mexico, one of many. And it's really lovely. It's hot. So we were talking about the time of day to go. There is a bit of a hike. I think there's like a 1 kilometer hike to get to the entrance where you start the tour. It's done in a group, but I thought it would be a great experience for you all because they only do the tours in Spanish.
love it.
So it's kind of like, you'll learn a lot and at the same time you get to practice the language. They don't have like an on-site, the guys who are on-site to do the tours, they all do them in Spanish. You can hire someone outside to do it for you. For anyone watching that might be interested and not a part of the group, you can hire someone in town. I forget his last name, but I think his first name is Albert. But if you go on like Airbnb experiences, you can hire someone who's English speaking and go on the tour with them in the group as well, just FYI. But this is perfect for you guys. So I know we kind of went back and forth. I was like, no, I think you should really try to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just reading up on it again. I think it's so, I'm just excited because part of the indigenous groups, the Toltec and the Chichimec, is crazy because I remember in college over 20 years ago reading about the Chichimec and the Toltec. Like, like you learn, oh, the Navajo, and you learn about these different indigenous
Right.
groups. I
Right.
remember that name and I always think Chichimec because it was like, it sounded, and
Right.
I just remember that name. And so
Right.
now to be able to go to one of those sites of
And
those
see it.
people,
Yeah.
that's really dope and exciting.
Yeah, it's beautiful there. I've been there a few times. Most recently, we had this outdoor, like long table lunching. It was amazing, and it wasn't at the ruins or at Cañada, but we could see it. So it was out there, and there's nothing really out there. Like, it's not a place where you're going to see a bunch of houses and all this other stuff. It's just all outdoors. And when you're here in August, I think it will be very green because it's going to be like during the rainy season. So, and it doesn't like rain all day. So just saying it'll be much greener than it is now because it's really brown right now.
I love it.
Brown,
And
brown.
then once we're done, that'll be a long day,
Yes.
So that's our last full day in SMA. So lunch, dinner on your own, whatever you want to do. But that evening, we are gonna have a closing ceremony. And every time I bring people on a trip, I'm very big on closing in the ceremony. I
Yes.
think the welcome, so let's celebrate. We're all here. We made it safely. Praise to the Most
Yes.
High. We're all here to gather and to set the
Right.
tone that we're here together. But the closing, I always like to have the four elements present. I like to
Right.
have wind, water, earth, and fire. When we
Right.
do it in Costa Rica, I like to bring travelers by the beach and we have a bonfire so we can feel the wind, we hear the breeze, the water, we have the
Right.
fire, Everything is present. The sand is there. Michelle, can you tell us about how we'll be able to do that
Do
in your
something
special
similar.
place?
Yes. Okay, so in my space, we have a nice backyard. I have what they call a chimenea, which is just one of those like long kind of bulb. It almost looks like a scallion, I guess. Yeah, for those who don't know what a chimenea is, but you can put wood in it and you can light a fire in there. I have my sound bowls, which are just like my jam. For those who follow me, I am mesmerized and just kind of like, when the sound bowls go off. So some of the things I've done in the past with my other gatherings and groups and stuff is a full moon kind of release, but I don't know that you'll have a full moon per se, but we've done like the same things where we set like the intention, we have like the closing to whatever that week was, we're staying grateful, and we're in a space where San Miguel is an energy space in Mexico. We've been told by many people that we're on top of quartz, so there's just a lot of really good energy here. And I think that kind of gathering in this final way is just kind of sealing like, okay, I did this with this group, and those are memories that you'll have, from here forward. So you can kind of choose like how you want to do the fire portion, but we do have the chimenea. Sometimes we just have like our little chalice and we'll kind of light that, and our incense and our candles and stuff in the studio downstairs or outside on the lawn. That's also an option. We have those big giant straw mats and things and yoga mats. So yeah, you guys can kind of like decide how you want to do it. And if you want to go for lighting the chimenea, we'll do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like it to be a time for those that want to express and say
Yes.
something, they
Yes.
can. For those that want to internally process, they can, but still just carving out a space with all the excitement, all the different things we're doing, to
Yes.
have a space just to be like, because some people may stay in Mexico longer. Some
Right.
people may return back. Some people, if they're local or they're traveling and they've been following Michelle and they just want to come spend the week with us, we all will depart and go our different ways.
Right.
But I always like people to be able to pause for the cause and capture,
Right.
like almost like take a picture, but let your body, your mind, body, and soul capture this moment so that it doesn't have to stay there.
Right.
Because ultimately, I think of like Costa Rica has a phrase has their main phrase, which is like their national, internationally, there's their known phrase, which is pura vida, which literally means pure life. Like,
Right.
how's your family? Pura vida. How's the business? Pura vida. Like, that's just like their national phrase. Um, but it means more than just like it's a sentiment. It's not just a phrase, pure life. And so people who live there, they understand what that means. And so I know I was challenged when I moved back to the States, where I was like, well, wait a minute. How do I cultivate pura vida when I'm not in Costa Rica? So I want us to be able to pause at the end and feel like after you experience the week in San Miguel de Allende with our beautiful host,
Yes, yeah.
Michelle, the hostess with the mostest, and we've been together, you've experienced it individually as well as collectively. Pause and reflect, be grateful, but capture it so
Right.
that wherever you go, you can still come back to that,
Right.
from within. So
Right.
that's my big thing on that. And then Sunday morning, early one Sunday morning,
We
we,
out.
we out.
Oh, yes. Well, what's interesting is between this June 1st and I think your event, or maybe the first week of August, I am with people nonstop. So I will also be like, coming down
Yes.
when you're coming down for a little bit, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be busy. It will
Yep.
be busy, but it's all good. We are grateful. Yes, because we have our August event is also
Yeah,
going
it's
to be
like right before
happening
that, the
close.
10th, 11th.
It's virtual, so that's good, So I'll be working here, but there will be a lot to do and things like
It's
that.
still those
So
virtual events require a lot too.
yeah,
So
they do. Yeah, November all the way through the rest of the year. So I'm grateful, but I will have like little breaks in between, and I will take full advantage of them.
Please do.
So I'm excited. Yes, I'm very excited. And I want to make one more announcement too. And this is all, it's happening, but I'm still putting it together. So just want to say, like, save the date and look out for it. On June 29th, I will be having an art opening at my home.
Okay.
And these are going to be beautiful Mexican women who worked on these pieces. They are very full of their own personal journeys and expressions. And it really is in line with what I do with not just Peace Not Pieces, but what we do in terms of housing a lot of feminine energy. So sorry, guys, but the space is all about feminine energies that have been here. I live here, that we basically create soft landing experiences for. So in this case, it's something that I've wanted to do for a few years, is to have local artists, people from here, or even individuals who have created art, but maybe they don't have a place to show it, to showcase it. So in asking the universe for this, Gabby, who facilitates my Peace Not Pieces, she and I worked together a few weeks ago, and she mentioned to me that she had this project with these women, and they created these pieces over, I think, a 4 to 6 month time frame. And it's a very personal project. Like, they worked on it for their own things, right? But it was so amazing and beautiful, and all the stories behind them, that they did an exposition in the town that they all live in, which is Zamora, where I went this past weekend. Beautiful. If you haven't heard of it, definitely look it up. I had not heard of it before. I drove there with Micah, 3 hours from San Miguel, one way. It was really beautiful. So I got to meet, I think, 4 or 5 of the artists of the 28 pieces that I got. So I'm so excited. And yeah, so we're gonna feature them here. And so I was able to bring all the art back. And now I'm just kind of like getting the house all together and in order. So I'm not sure if I'll still have them when you get
Okay.
here, but at the very least, you'll see some things. I'll do some video, and we're going to invite the women. We're going to have people come, and they're going to talk about their pieces and what it meant to them and all these things. So it'll be beautiful. Yeah. June
Any
29th.
additional June 20, if you have any additional pieces, will you have like that small index card, like with that info for when you do
Yes.
that presentation, you'll have that up. So,
Yes, I'm going to, so I already have like the cards, but I need to translate them, because when they did them before, they just did them in Spanish.
yeah,
So
I
I
won't have
want
the
to
English there.
yeah, I want to do both languages. And I think some of the pieces might be for sale, but not all.
Okay.
So whatever it is they decide, that's on them. I'm just happy to house it here, because I just feel like I keep, bringing, yeah, it helps to bring continued like goodness and karma and, you know, things like that. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. Hey,
Yeah, it's
I'm all for
beautiful.
it. Art is another form of expression.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm so
So,
excited, Michelle.
me
This is going to
too.
be amazing. Again, visit Jessie Feliz Travel. That's JESSIE. Don't forget
Yes.
that I. Feliz with a Z, not an X. It ain't no Felix up in here.
I know.
JessieFelizTravel.com to learn more about our trip. Also,
Yes.
again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share it, comment, because
Please.
Michelle is amazing.
Press,
Um,
press.
and yeah, I'm so excited. I can't deny it. Okay.
Right. I'm so
It's gonna be
excited.
amazing. And
Yes.
also, this is planting a seed for future things because I really want to encourage and I want to have safe spaces for anyone, but I'm not going to deny my target population for Black young adults who are considering majoring in Spanish. I want to support that gap year. I want to support, even if it's a semester or a summer abroad, I want to be able to win some of the free time. That's
Right.
why, y'all, when you get your free time, you see this right here. This means I can't do no conversation during this free time because Jessie got to do what Jessie got to do because I'm still on business while I'm there
Right.
because I got to connect with the local schools and
Right.
figure out because I need authentic experiences. I'm trying to train up, not trying, I am training up a generation of
Right.
people who can help educate and learn the language
Absolutely.
and to teach our children, because our children
Absolutely.
need this. Everybody need it,
Absolutely.
but our children need it. And so I would
Right.
love to have that space and place to set up where, hey, if I got to send somebody for a semester and they can be connected to work and acquire, because you have to get that near native sound, you have to have that native experience.
Exactly.
And so that doesn't mean that can't happen in the US either, because you could be in a population. And again, I'm not saying that you have to, but I am going to say that I know me living in Costa Rica is what sets my linguistic journey apart if I did
Right.
not have that experience. I want to
Absolutely.
offer that experience to as many people, and I want to be able to do that eventually in Costa Rica. I know because of the relations with the US and Mexico, as well as the proximity, it is a closer fit. And also, I want to be able to leverage, because you are a Black woman living in Mexico with experience. And so I want to be able to provide those opportunities, not only for college
Absolutely.
students, but that is also, we're planting these seeds early on.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Like I said, I know that there are plenty of people like myself, especially, when I first started going to college in like the latter 80s, and I was just so curious about how can I get in a travel, I just couldn't see it. I had no counselor who said, well, this is how it works, or this is how you do it. And yes, it's a complete, different time frame, but the curiosity was there, and I had no one to really help me explore that. I always thought, how can I pay for it, right? What do I do when I get over there? I don't know the language. How do I prepare for this experience? So in fast forwarding to now, and also having my child, and seeing and traveling a lot, especially when my first, years, a couple of times that I went to Europe, and just seeing how the people who live in European countries know so many languages. I was always like, wow, they know these languages because of vicinity. And, they're not to say forced, they're not forced to learn other languages, but if you live in a certain place, you learn that language, right? If you live in the southern part of Switzerland, you know Italian. If you live in the
Yes.
Roman part of Switzerland, you know Swiss German, you know German, and you know the
Yes.
Romish, I think that's what it's called, and the French speaking part. So it's like all these like little areas in this tiny country where people knew multiple languages. And for me, I was always so impressed by this, and I thought, well, it's because of where they are and where they grew up. And so for myself, I thought, I want my child to also have this experience, and is why you and I started these conversations, because I came to you and I said, you know what, I really want to use this space once or even twice a year to give this opportunity to people, even younger people, to
Yes.
come and be able to come and spend, a college summer and learn Spanish or practice their Spanish or whatever. So this is the start of
Yes.
something good and new for Casa Elm. We tried last year, and here we are, right? It's
There we
actually
go.
happening. So I'm very
Started
grateful to
from the bottom now. Well, yeah.
right? I love it. I love it. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much. Check us out. Check Jessie Feliz Travel. Like she said, Jessie, Jessie, Feliz, Feliz, because the computer will change it. Auto check will change it because that happened to me. Travel.com. And you can also find it on Casa Elm under the events, and it links directly to her page as well. If you just happen to be there, you can get on and check the travel pass for the week. This gives you access as well to the activities that we just talked about. And I think it's going to be a first grand start to something new. I'm excited. So if you have not already hit the like button, please do so. If you have not already subscribed to my channel and you keep coming back, please do me a favor and hit subscribe. It's real easy. Yes, and set the notifications if you want to know when I'm on. I'm usually on every Wednesday at 6 Central Mexico time. I have to specify because we do not follow daylight savings time. So at some times of the year, we're 1 hour behind Eastern Standard, and sometime, like this time of the year, we're 2 hours. So it's a little confusing, but you can Google it to see wherever you are in the world and you're watching when to catch my lives. And yes, it's going to be a busy rest of the year, right? So stay tuned. There's a lot of really good things. If you're watching this, you can look at the chat and see all the stuff that we talked about earlier, housekeeping and all the things. So I'm excited for Jessie to get here. Her event is, if you missed it, August
August
12th through
12th.
the 18th. Yes, and it's in San Miguel de Allende, and we're going to be hosting all those wonderful people. So I'm excited. So that's it. That's all I have. If anyone has any questions, just like drop them in the comments and I'll reply soon. I'm not going to say right away.
Right.
Soon.
Soon.
It's a 48-hour
I
ish,
get
right? Get
home.
to it. So thank you all. Have a fabulous night.
Buenas
Thank you for
noches, que
joining
tengan una
us.
noche muy buena. Thank you, Michelle.
Sí,
You're
buenas
amazing.
noches. Sí, hang tight. Don't hang up. Hang tight.
Ciao, everybody.
Hold on a second. Trying to figure out how to cut this off. Hold up. Usually there's like a end and I don't see it.
Let's keep smiling. Soon as I get home, I'll make it up to you.
I know
Baby,
we're
I
still
do
on
what I gotta do.
my end live stream is not there. My button, where's my button? So you guys can still hear us. So adios and just hang tight. I'm trying to figure out how to cut this. Great. All trying to trick me up in her. Hold up. Okay, I hope that worked. Someone will tell me if it didn't work.
I still see us on YouTube right now. Hey,
For
hey,
real?
we're
Is
still
it like a
live.
delay?
It's a little delay, but we're still on YouTube right now. Do you just want to hang up on Zoom,
I'm trying
baby?
to hang it. Okay, here we go. It didn't have the end stream. Okay, there we go. There's gonna be a little delay and got all that. Oh, that was good.